Welcome to the December 27th Board of Selectmen meeting. The meeting is being audio and video recorded. If you'd please stand and join me in the pledge of the flag.
I allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone. First on the agenda we have the Samoset Rod and Gun Club for a change of hours request. They were here at the last meeting, but we were unable to vote on it due to lack of quorum, so they're in front of us again tonight.
I would like the record show that I'm on the board of directors. I will abstain from any discussion or voting on this issue.
All right, thank you. So last week we had discussed a change from 9 p.m. for the outdoor patio, and they're now requesting 12 o'clock. As discussed last time, there haven't been any complaints from neighbors to either the police department or to this office. Did you, I know you spoke last time, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything else.
No, we got nothing to say. Like I said, I just want to go on record that there hasn't been no complaints at all. We have had any issues. We've been very neighborly. Anybody's been told, like the previous hearing, you have an issue, come see us. And nobody's come complained or gave us any bit of a hard time or nothing about anything.
So at the last meeting I attended, I spoke in opposition to the change to 12 o'clock. And we didn't get in too much discussion of it, so now is probably the time to do that. Part of my concern, and I looked at the demographics of where the club is located, and there are no residential houses directly where the bocce court is set up. But if you're open till midnight, you're going to have traffic in and out, and there is a resident right to the, if you're facing the building, to the right of the building, and you have residents across the street. So I'm trying to understand how much of an impact this will have on them being open till midnight.
Just one thing, I believe the license is already until midnight, correct?
Correct.
So just the outdoor.
The club
Right.
license that we hold allows us to be open from 10 in the morning till midnight.
Okay, so do you expect to have, because you'll be open outside now during the summer, you'll have the outdoor area open for liquor till midnight, do you expect more traffic?
No, the area outside here will be controlled by the board of directors in regards to how late we'll let somebody go out there. Our license runs 10 to midnight, that's why I asked for 10 to midnight. For the club license to be the same, so that the hours would be the same for the club license and the patio license would be 10 to midnight. That's why I requested it the way I did.
Do you?
But
Yeah.
inside the club, here, the regulations on what we allow our members to do and how late we allow people to be out there is going to be set by the board of directors.
So what do you expect to occur by having a S permit outdoors till midnight?
I'll be honest with you, my thing here is to make sure that we don't commit a liquor law violation by somebody going out to have a cigarette and bringing out a beverage at 10 or 11 o'clock and incur a liquor law violation by violating the license. I have no intent to run a party outside till midnight.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern, I agree with you.
My biggest thing here, and he'll tell you the same thing, is I just don't want somebody that goes out to the patio area to have a cigarette, because we don't allow smoking inside the club. At 10:30, 11 o'clock, you commit a liquor law violation.
Okay.
Right.
So I wanted to keep it within the hours of the liquor license, so when we shut down, do the last call, that it's all the same.
Okay, so you don't have any intentions of any type of events to bring in additional revenue outdoors?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that was my concern, is that maybe you had plans for something you wanted to do to bring in additional revenue, but what you explained is completely understandable. And that's a good way to run a business, is anticipating this could cause us a problem. And you're right, people do go outside to have a cigarette, and they don't
That's a
mean to break the
conversation
law.
I have with you down the road, that, yeah, we dropped the ball and we let somebody's outside, we didn't realize it.
Right, and it's just a natural thing for them to do. They're walking out the door, they bring their drink with them, so no, I get it 100%.
Okay. So I'm fine with midnight. I think that we do need to make sure that there aren't any more, or sorry, not any more, but aren't any complaints now that it is midnight, a few hours later. And we obviously reserve the right to reduce the hours if there is an issue in the future.
No problem.
Understandable.
So I would make a motion to grant their license with the extended hours for the outdoor patio, and, as customary contingent on if there are any complaints, we'd have to review that.
Okay, I will second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great new year.
You too.
Most of God be with you and all the happy stuff.
Take care, Bill. Have a great week. You too. Thank you.
Good luck with the dishes.
Okay, and now we have the liquor license renewal for Somerset Rod and Gun Club. Is there a motion to renew their license?
I'll make a motion to renew their license.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And Eldon, was that a recusal?
Abstain from voting.
Okay, ratify appointment of Assistant Town Administrator. So, just for those watching, the three of us individually had met with a person of interest and interviewed this person. And David, if you want to tell us a little bit, or tell the public a little bit more about her.
Sure. Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, her name is Linda Torres. She is currently acting in a similar capacity for the town of Dartmouth. She has been there for 14 years, and she currently does a lot of, or most of the same responsibilities as to what Mallory and Tracy have done in the past. She also has HR experience there and also in the private sector prior to her employment in the town of Dartmouth. So normally we would go out, we would follow a process, but based on the fact that one, we needed to be able to make a move on this pretty quickly. Two, I not only am familiar with Linda through being a colleague, I worked in the town of Dartmouth for a full year and actually worked under her. And I know that not only can she do the job, that she's just going to be a really good fit. So I reached out to her. She was certainly open to the change. As you stated, I interviewed her. I then had her meet with each one of you on an individual basis, and obviously solicited each of your feedback individually. Per the policy, I thought that she was the right move, so therefore, after consultation with each one of you, we sent her a offer letter. She accepted, and tonight I'm looking for the board to ratify that decision.
I was the first one to interview, and I was very, very impressed with the resume. It's certainly what we're looking for. I mean, if she comes through just half of the things of the resume, because she's really involved, and I think it's going to be a good choice for us.
I met with Linda. She's professional. She has vast experience, and one of the things that impressed me about her is she has a lot of knowledge and experience with implementing electronic records. So I think we'll be able to leverage that experience, I hope.
Yep, I agree. I have full confidence, and most importantly, I'm glad to see the role expanded, now including HR Director. So with that said, is there a motion to ratify Linda's appointment?
I'll make a motion to ratify the appointment.
Second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. Vote on CNC Reading Farm street light request. David, did this go through the...
It did. So before you, you have a recommendation of an affirmative vote before the Street Lighting Committee. The farm located at 175 East Center Street has indicated to us that's pretty dark there. And so what we did was that I went there, I visited the site. I've also did a Google map for you so you could see in the center of the page is the building. And then just to the right of it is pole number 37. And interesting, about a quarter of a mile in each direction, there are no other streetlights. So what the Streetlight Committee has approved and recommending to this board is to put a streetlight, or actually a spotlight, on that pole, and it would shine down on the entranceway. And the reason for that is that as traffic goes in and out of that farm, it becomes a public safety issue on Route 106, which obviously we want to avoid. So they're recommending it. And again, that street's actually darker than I would have thought, so I think it seems to make a lot of sense.
Thank you. Any questions or comments or a motion?
No, I'll make a motion to approve the streetlight request for CNC Reading Farm.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the meeting minutes of sorry, I skipped one. Approve the meeting minutes of November 7th and 14th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of November 7th and November 14th.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to accept for review the meeting minutes
So
of
moved.
December 5th. Is there a second?
I'll recuse myself because I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. I'll second that. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Denise. And the fiscal year 20 budget message, so we have to send a message to departments requesting their budget be submitted. David, do you want to walk us through the timing for this?
Sure. So the timing is that I've asked the board to provide a budget message this evening. Normally, we do it the second meeting of the month, but we couldn't do it last time, so we're doing it in a special meeting. And so historically, it has been a level services budget request from the Board of Selectmen. I then take that budget message along with a copy of their previous year's budget in previous years to that budget. I will send it off to each and every department head throughout the entire town. I will provide them until Friday, February 1st to turn in their budgets. The school department usually can't make that time frame, which is fine, but they have a public hearing on March 18th. Other than that, pretty much everybody else will get it in on time. I will then put all of those copies into a large binder, of which you will receive when you begin your budget hearings in the month of February. And the Finance Committee obviously receives the same booklet. So tonight is really the kickoff to our FY20 budget. And so I'm looking for whatever formal message you would like to send to the department heads as part of that process.
Okay. Eldon or Denise, do you have
Well,
anything?
I'd like to see level service because this has worked in the past, and I think it's the direction that I'd like to see the board go.
I'd also like to see level services. At the same time, I think each department needs to look closely at historical budget lines and try to be as accurate as possible for the future. I know there was a lot of projecting on what would happen with commodities like electricity, and I don't think those rates in gas have gone where they were expected to, so I suspect there's some funds, some surplus left over from the last budget season, and it's not totally negative to have those surplus funds because we can find good uses for it, and it provides a cushion for future years. But again, it's accurate forecasting is reasonable.
Okay, so would one of you like to make a motion for a level service budget
Bring
request?
the motion to a level service budget. And,
I'll second the motion.
take
All in
into
favor?
consideration what Denise said there too, and
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All right, David, you last time walked us through town council's opinion briefly. Did you want to
Sure.
quickly go through that again?
Sure. So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, what we did was I asked town council to review the potential concern that a resident brought up, that where Selectman Moreira sits on the board of directors for Samoset, whether or not he can vote on an alcohol policy going forward. It was always my position that he could, because this was a blanket policy that did not allow any special benefits or privileges to either Mr. Moreira himself or to the organization that he serves on. Town council has reviewed this and actually found a 20-year-old opinion letter from the Ethics Division that has remained as their opinion, specifically for a Board of Selectmen voting on alcohol policies, and they have found that that does not create an ethics violation because it is a blanket policy, and the purpose of the ethics is to make sure that there is no benefit to that person or to the organization that that person serves. So I've included the signed letter from town council informing them that it is not an ethics violation. What I would ask is that Eldon, you had stated at the last meeting and then signed it, that you said that you would disclose that you are affiliated with the club, and that you also believe that you can act on this in an impartial basis. As long as you believe that you can do that and state that, then you can move forward on a vote. It is not an ethics violation. In addition to that, because we want to make sure that we protected you to the fullest extent of the law, town council has also sent that letter, opinion letter, into the ethics division. So if anybody were to contact the ethics division in the future, is that it's already on file with the ethics division that you are acting under the advice of town council.
Well, the reason I kind of held it up, because, you know, I know you asked for the opinion, but it wasn't signed, and that's the only reason why I didn't vote, and because Denise was not here, and part of it at the time too. So, yeah, like I said, as long as, you know, the town council, and he's got a case of this, and I'll go along with it, you know. And, you know, I was kind of ripping a little bit there, I admit it, and I said, I'm gonna vote on any of that stuff, and I said, and then I guess I told you that, and you told me the town council, if I do that, I wouldn't be able to vote on anything.
Correct.
Going down the line. And what the heck is the sense of being behind here is if I can't put action, you know, in that wouldn't be a very good way to go.
Well,
So-
and I get it, Eldon, there's fear in doing this job, because if you innocently vote on something, trying to do what you're supposed to do, and again, you're using thought, you're doing it thoughtfully, you're not doing it with any malice, you're voting on something thoughtfully, but there's an area of the law that you're just somehow touching a little bit, you could be fined. 10,000. You've heard of people being fined $5,000-$10,000.
Well, that's another thing too.
Typically,
There's just some big fines, so I want to
Right.
make sure that the town council knows about it, and we're going to let the ethics commission know too,
right.
where we stand there. So I just, you know, hope everything will be all right. You know, we serve, and we don't really get that much for serving here, and you know, they must owe us a little bit of concern, because you know, we try to do the right things and keep out of you know, any kind of conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty obvious to any resident if there was any intent on this board to do something underhanded or deceptive. I mean, it's videotaped. So I think it would be pretty obvious, and this was just I think a red tape issue.
Yeah, it's a blanket policy that equally affects all establishments in town, not providing any advantage to one over the other.
Very good.
So with that said, Selectman Murray, I know you did it at the last meeting, but just because I want to make sure that in case anybody were to question it, is that if you could just publicly disclose your relationship to the club, i.e. what you serve as on the board there.
I serve on the board of directors, as chairman of the board of directors at the Somerset Rod and Med Club.
And also state for the record that based on your evaluation and the vote on the merits, is that you're able to do it with objective standards as you would with any other proposed changes in town policies.
I do.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for researching and getting into it in the town council, because, you know, it was a very concern of mine when it did come up. And, you know, I needed some answers, and I think we got the answers.
And so for the record as well, what you signed at your last meeting, I will have you sign again with tonight's date, and then I will provide a
Fine.
copy to the town clerk's office.
That's fine.
Okay, so next we have to vote on the actual alcohol policy and rules and regulations for liquor license holders in the town of West Bridgewater. David, do you need two separate votes? The first one being to rescind the vote of the previous vote?
No, I think if you just want to make it one, to say that this is a vote that, I don't think so. I mean, just make this as a vote, just saying that, sure, rescind all other previous votes and then do it on this one, is fine.
Okay, so we've discussed this new policy or policy changes, not even a new policy changes at length. I don't know, did anyone have anything to add, or is there
No,
a motion to rescind?
I'll make a motion to rescind the previous vote regarding the amended alcohol policy and rules and regulations for liquor license holders, and continue the motion to approve the amended policy.
Okay. Is
Okay,
there a
I'll
second?
second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, public comment period. Anyone have anything?
Happy New Year to everybody,
Yeah.
and the best of luck to Denise, and hope that next year will be good year.
Thank you. I'm hoping 2019 will be a better year.
And I know that one of our real loyal workers, lost his wife there, and maybe a
Mhm.
moment of silence for Bill Cavadas, who really done a lot for this town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.